save it for you. And I'm also going to save it as an MP4 so it'll be easier for you to see it with any system you use. So, okay, I'm going to give you 5 points. Here they are. The 5 points that I'm going to give you are -4, 0. They'll seem familiar because it's the same points. -2, +4, 0, 0, 2, -2, and 4, 0. So let's go ahead, let's graph these, and I'm going to show you what the original question is going to look like for practice sake. So they're just generically giving you some function. They're telling you that this represents some random function, and they're telling you they want you to transform this function to be at -1/2 of the f of x minus 1 plus 3. That's where they start you. So what I want to do with you right away is let's establish the order of transformations. The order of transformations is required. So order of transformations. Yes.
This whole lesson, is this called order of transformations?
No, the whole lesson is 2.5, and I'm just continuing the last 2 examples. But this, I want to focus right now on the order of transformations because this is what you're doing right now. So number 1, we're going to do anything that is a horizontal, shift. Number 2, you're going to do anything that is a stretch or a shrink, whether vertical or horizontal. So stretch or shrink, again, whether vertical or horizontal. The third thing you're going to do is anything that's a reflection. So there's horizontal reflections, there's vertical reflections. And the fourth thing, or the last thing you do, is anything that is a vertical shift. Anything that is a vertical shift. Okay, now look at my color code because I want to color code these for you. In yellow, I'm going to start with a horizontal shift. So notice that I'm covering the yellow right here as well in the function. Follow the color code. So that's number 1. The second thing, like I said, is the stretch or shrink. I'm going to call the stretch or shrink in green. In this case, my shrink is a vertical shrink. And notice that I'm only covering the 1/2. I'm not looking at the negative. Also notice in the pink, so let's go with hot pink, the little negative is your reflection. And lastly, the last thing you do is anything that is a vertical. I have used those 3 colors. Let's use blue. And so vertical shift, that's going to be my +3. And I'm going to walk you through each of these right now. And since you have the graph paper to use, I'm going to do it both in a chart and on the graph. Okay? And we're going to try one. You're going to do one, I'm going to try one, and so on. Okay? So I'm going to start with an XY table. Right in the middle. So I'm going to put an XY table right here, smack in the middle. If you notice, I'm going to extend it because I'm gonna have other xy's. Right now, I'm gonna put in -4 and 0, -2 and 4, 0, 0, to -2 and 4, 0, just like that. So according to this, my first change is gonna be the x values. And in that, I'm referring to the horizontal shift. It says x minus 1. In reality, what am I really gonna do? +1. I'm gonna add 1 to all of these. So this is gonna be +1. 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 So my new x value, I'm gonna call it x1. That value is now gonna be -4 + 1, which is -3. So this is -3. -2 + 1, which is -1. 0 + 1, which is just 1. 2 + 1, which is 3. And lastly, 4 + 1, which is 5. Okay, that's just the first step. Okay. Thankfully, this is being recorded, so please remember to watch the recording if you're having trouble listening and doing. I get that. Now, the next thing, if you notice, it says it is a stretch or shrink situation, and in the green, you can see that we do have a change in y. There is a change of a shrink of 1/2. So all y's get changed to 1/2. Half a 0. So my y1 is 0. Half a 4, that's 2. Half a 0, that's 0. Half of -1 is -1, and half a 0 is 0. Do we agree? Mm-hmm. So right now, all I've done is the green stretch. The next thing I ask you to do or look at is the reflection. In this case, do you notice that you go from -1, -2, and you're going to go from that to -1, -2. So all the y's are going to become negative. 0 doesn't matter. This matters. And this becomes positive because of the reflection. So I just reflected. I'm done. Just change the little signs. And the last part. Again, it's a vertical shift. Who's changing? Y. According to this, I'm going to add 3 to every y. So that means in my next y, means I'm going to add 3 to all sides. So this will be +3, 0, 3. 0 + 3 is 3. -2 + 3 is 1. 0 + 3 is 3. 1 + 3 is 4. 0 + 3 is 3. So those are my new points. My new points are -3, 3. -1, 1. 1, 3. My next point is 3, 4, and lastly 5, 3. So if I look at the diagram, I want you to stop and I want you to look at this. I'm going to highlight this. Let's highlight it in like a grayish color. So this was where I started, right? Right here. That was the first coordinate, second coordinate, third coordinate, fourth coordinate, and fifth coordinate. That's where I started. Where I ended, and I'm going to do that in, let's go with orange. I'll circle it. I ended up with -3, 3, -1, 1, 1, 3, and 3, 4, and 5, 3 as a regular coordinate. So if I graph these side by side, if you're ready, if I'm going too fast, let me know. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm just going to graph, just knowing what I know now. So I'm gonna go back to my regular graph over here. And I have negative 4, 0. That was my original. The 2 to 4, that's right here. 0, 0. And then I have 2, negative 2. So I'm gonna go over 2, down 2. I'm here. And then 4, 0. I'm here. So I have an upside down parabola and a little absolute value thing. That's the original guy, right? According to the new one, so I'm gonna go with orange on this. I have the point negative 3, 3. So negative 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, negative 3, up 3. I'm here. Negative 1, 1, which means right here. I have 1, 3, so I'm over here, going back up 3. I have 3, 4. When x is 3, y is 4, so I'm up here. And then I have 5, 3, which means that when x is 5, I'm up 3, I'm up here. So this looks like this. You have your upside down parabola here, and then the little triangle. And that's your new graph. So that's how you've transformed it. You've taken this whole thing, you turned it around, you flipped it up, you did a bunch of stuff. Just follow the order of transformations. So I want to give you one to try. If and when you're ready, I can leave this up here for you to try. Are you okay with that if I do that? Yeah? Okay. I'm gonna leave you with the same points. How about that? I'll leave you with the same points. And let's do a minor change. I'm gonna leave this up here for you to follow. If you want to follow it, that's fine. But I kind of want to start from scratch. Let me start from scratch. You should have the notes. I don't want you to confuse the numbers and assume they're related cousins because they're not. Okay, what if I said to you, have y equals negative 2 parentheses f, should be parentheses there, f of x, let's go with x plus 1, and let's go with plus 2. Do you think you can follow that real quick? Make a chart and we'll do it together. I'll give you a few minutes. I'm gonna pause the video for a minute while you do this, and then I'll do what I do with you. Maybe it's pauses. Okay, so the recording is paused. If you guys want to talk, this would be a good time. Go ahead. You got 15 minutes. Basically till about 3:30-ish. Work with a partner, work with a group. I give you 15 minutes. Go. This is a good time to chit chat. Move your seat if you have to.
So on this one, it's and then instead the thing it's functional, so I'm
I know, it is.
I am gonna give you guys a video to watch at home, so it'll be really helpful. It'll talk about stretches and strengths, so you understand. It should help you quite a bit.
download on the block because I think it's a thing for making sure I'm good.
What you needed were the numbers. You'll see that on the video. You'll rewatch the video.
Just for X, I subtracted one. To do it on the with horizontal, I did that. And then this one. Y is a big one down. No, I'm not sure. Wait, the Y value is 1/2. Because one of the stretches yeah, the negative here, I multiply that with the Y. Okay, so I multiplied it with that. And then I added.
No, you're right, you're right.
Go with the negative one.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God. I'm not already doing. I got lost at the reflection. The reflection is.
If it's vertical, it's true to itself, remember. If it's horizontal, it's always a hypocrite. It always does the opposite.
Yeah, we're not using it.
Are we missing anybody today? Oh, this motherfucker.
Here's that.
I guess it's 5, 6, maybe 6.
But like, so far, it's like, so I'm guessing it would be like gravel and more. Yeah, it's a little funky.
All right. Are you ready or you need a minute? Ready? Love it. You need a minute? Okay, you do need a minute? Okay. All right. Orange.
Oh, no, this is.
That's negative 1, yes. Oh, yeah. Yo, you heard that?
Be nice to each other, because then next thing you know, you know, no.
It's gonna be a boss.
It's funny because you can't even do something simple.
Okay, relax. 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 Okay, calm down. It's not high school. All right, are you ready? I assume at this point you must be. Let me restart this the screen.
The one that's the little like.
Oh, thank you. I just, for some reason, I couldn't see it. All right, so we are here. All right. If we are recording, so here we go. So one more time, going back to this, the color highlights, okay? So look, and be patient with each other. First thing I'm looking at is this horizontal shift. That's number one. The second thing I want to focus on is my, in this case, vertical stretch. I want to focus on that. Notice I said vertical because it's outside the function, right? The next thing I want to focus on in teal, or the pink color, is the reflection itself. And lastly, the vertical shift, which we have a vertical shift right here of, looks like +2. Okay, so let's do the math. We start with our XY original. Okay, and I left it with the XY original on purpose, and I'm going to draw a nice long line. We have -4, 0. We have -2, +4, we have 0, 0, we have 2, -2, and we have 4, 0. So the first thing is that hypocrite. According to that, it says x plus 1, but what am I really going to do? I'm going to go -1 on all of the x terms. So my new x is going to be -5, -3, -1, 1, and 3. Do we agree? Cool. Now, the next one is a vertical stretch, or excuse me, stretch, in this case, a vertical stretch, and you know that because it's a 2. So what does that tell me? I'm going to multiply all these by 2. So my new value, because 0 times 2 is still 0. 2 times 4 is now 8. 0 times 2 is still 0. -2 times 2, -4. And 0 times 2 is 0. Are you there?
Yes.
All right, cool. Now the reflection. According to the reflection, I've got a negative. So that means that this 8, which is positive, is now negative, and this -4 is now positive. There's my reflection. I'm done. The 0, I don't care. There's no such thing as -0, right? And lastly, the vertical shift. According to this, my vertical shift is going to produce a new y, because I'm going to add 2 to each value. So if I go 0 plus 2, my new number is 2. -8 plus 2, I get -6. 0 plus 2, I get +2. 4 plus 2, I get 6. 0 plus 2, I get 2. So my new values, I'm going to circle them in orange, are this. Do you match? If we match, we're good. If we don't match, figure out what's going on. So that should be your new coordinate pair for your new drawing. That should be your new coordinate pair, your new drawing. And then these guys are the originals right here. That's this number. That was an original. That's an original. That's an original. That's an original. That's an original. So this in orange are your 2 new coordinates. You good? You got the same thing? Thumbs up if you got the same thing. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Okay. But you're okay overall?
Yeah, overall, I do. I can keep the negatives.
All right. All right, so here's the deal. This is recorded. You can always go back and look at the recording, okay? Okay, I want to give you another one. Are you ready? Let's do another one. This time, I'm going to change up the script a little bit. So in this example, remember this is being recorded. I have f of x is equal to x squared. We are very well versed with that, right? The typical parabola. Yeah. The important paper. Who has extra paper?
I don't. Oh, graph paper?
No, there's somebody of some of you have somebody here.
Yo, it's right here.
Right. Okay, so the graph I want you to try to do or transform is g of x is equal to 2 parentheses x plus 3 squared minus 1. Let's do a domain. What if I ask you to do a domain? And we'll keep the domain small. We'll keep it between -5 and 5. Okay, so keep the domain small between -5 and 5. So just to get you warmed up, I'm going to do the basic parabola. Since we know this is in quadrants 1 and 2, we have 0, 0, when x is 1 or -1, y is 1. When x is 2 or -2, we know that y is 4. So 4. When x is 3 or -3, we know y is 9. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know. I think I'm going to keep it to -3, 3. How's that? Is that okay with you? Because that way we won't go outside of the graph. So here's our parabolas, pretty quasi. But it at least gives you the idea that if we start this parabola, we're gonna start with 0, 0, 1, 1, negative 1, 1. We're now gonna do 2, 4, negative 2, 4. And we know that this is 3, 9. This is negative 3, 9. So at least you have a starting point is what I'm getting at. And then we're going to apply the transformations that are here. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the horizontal shift. What's happening in our horizontal shift? We're gonna take away 3. So if I take away 3, my new x, I'm gonna call it x prime. 3 minus 3 is 0. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. 0 minus 3 is negative 3. Negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. Negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. And minus 3 minus 3 is negative 6. Is there a stretch or a shift? Definitely a vertical stretch. So that's telling me that there's going to be a stretch times 2. So this is 18. This is 8. This is 2. This is 0. This is 2. This is 8. And this is 18. Is there a reflection? There's no reflection, so we can now do the last piece, which is the vertical shift of negative 1, which means my next y, or my actual new y, is 18 minus 1 is 17. 8 minus 1 is just 7. 2 minus 1 is just 1. 0 minus 1 is minus 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. 8 minus 1 is 7. 18 minus 1 is 17. So here is your old stuff. These are your original numbers. Since we're gonna, let's do 0, 0. Keep it simple for those of you that want to just keep it simple. If we go as far as 1, 1, and we can maybe go as far as 2, 2 if you want to just leave it there and leave the 3 9s as a maybe. If you don't want to do them, don't do them. Okay. Your new values are here in orange. So again, you would have the answer here where the vertex is 3, negative 1. Your other values would be 2, negative 2, positive 1, negative 1, 7. If you stop at the 2s, we could just use these. When it goes as far as the 9s, that's fine. Those are your new values. Check your math. Tell me if you got it. If you feel comfortable, let me know. If you don't feel comfortable, please, please, as always, I stress, come see me for office hours. Or talk to a peer, whatever makes you comfortable. Cool. Shall we do another? And this time we do, yes. And shall we do it with a buddy? So that's one of those, what do you call it? I already answered the question for you. Yes, you will do another. Huh? Rhetorical. Thank you. Good question. All right. Are you ready for another one? Or do you have questions on this one? You tell me. Still copying. No worries. Still copying? Let me know when. Say when. Now, listen, when I give you this next question, I need you to get it with a partner, get with a buddy, get with a triplet, get with a quadruplet, I don't care. Start working on the question and talk it through together, okay? So I'm gonna give you the question. Are you still copying or are you good? Huh? You good? Anybody still copying? Going once to going twice. I'm gonna drive you crazy. Let's say yes or no. Keep going. We're good. I like it. Love it. Okay, so we're gonna use the parent graph of f of x is equal to x squared. I'm gonna ask you, just let's keep it simple. Let's do the domain between just -2 and 2. So that means your x, y grid starts with -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. That's basically what that means, right? And then just fill it in as you need. So this is obviously 4, that's 1, that's 0. That's 1, that's 4. That's your starting point. What I want you to do is to now transform that such that g of x is equal to 2 parentheses x minus 1 squared plus 3. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here and I'll talk you through it as we need.